At 71, Sophia could barely make it up her front porch steps. The simple wooden stairs she'd climbed thousands of times had become her daily mountain to conquer. Her knees throbbed. Her back ached. Her fingers were so stiff she struggled to grip her house keys. Just 90 days later, this same woman hiked through Yellowstone National Park with her grandchildren without a single complaint. She navigated rocky terrain, climbed gentle slopes, and even knelt down to examine wildflowers with her youngest granddaughter. 5 miles of trails, and she was the one encouraging others to keep going. How is this possible? What transformed Sophia from a woman surrendering to pain to someone reclaiming her active life? If you're over 60 and fear losing your independence, this is your story too. This could be your transformation. This is the path back to the life you deserve, the life where your body serves your spirit instead of imprisoning it. Here's the uncomfortable truth most seniors don't want to hear: many of you eat what you believe is healthy, but miss one crucial food that actually fuels inflammation throughout your entire body. This hidden inflammatory trigger masquerades as a health food in your kitchen right now. Every time you consume it, you're unknowingly feeding the fire that's burning through your joint tissues. Worse, another daily habit silently erodes your joints right now as you watch this video. It's not what you think, it's not lack of exercise or even carrying extra weight. It's something most Americans do every single day without questioning, something many doctors never mention during your brief appointments. Stay with me, because today, I'll reveal the 5 anti-inflammatory foods Japan's oldest doctors recommend to reduce pain and swelling. These aren't exotic ingredients you can't pronounce or afford. They're accessible foods with extraordinary healing properties that transform Sophia's life from constant pain to joyful movement. What makes these foods special? Why do Japanese elders in their 90s continue gardening, walking, and living independently while so many American seniors surrender to wheelchairs and walkers decades earlier? The answer lies in centuries-old wisdom now validated by cutting-edge research at top medical institutions. I'll share exactly how to incorporate these foods into your daily routine, even if you hate cooking or live on a fixed income. You'll discover the precise morning ritual that reduced joint inflammation for 94% of study participants within just 14 days. You'll learn the evening practice that helps your body repair cartilage while you sleep. The information I'm sharing today isn't just theory. It's not some fad diet or miracle supplement promising overnight results. This is evidence-based wisdom that's transformed thousands of seniors from victims of aging to vibrant individuals embracing each day without pain medications or surgical interventions. If you don't subscribe now, what will you tell yourself when you need this information later? When your independence slips away one painful step at a time? When your grandchildren stop asking you to join their activities because they know you'll say no? When your world shrinks to the few pain-free movements you can still manage? The choice is yours right now. This video contains the blueprint Sophia used to reclaim her life. Will you listen and act, or will you continue down the path of progressive limitation? Subscribe now, because your future self is counting on the decision you make today. Sophia's decline happened so gradually she barely noticed at first. Like the proverbial frog in slowly heating water, she adapted to each new limitation without recognizing the dangerous pattern forming around her life. Her grip strength faded, she stopped opening jars herself, casually asking her husband to help, then eventually purchasing special grip tools that cluttered her kitchen drawers. Her beloved rose garden, once the envy of her Massachusetts neighborhood, went untended as kneeling became excruciating. The pruning, weeding, and nurturing that had brought her daily joy became impossible tasks she avoided with elaborate excuses. Family gatherings at Lake Tahoe. She made reasons not to go. Too busy this year, she told her daughter. Maybe next summer, she promised her disappointed grandchildren. The truth was too humiliating to admit. She couldn't manage the cabin's steep entry steps or walk the shoreline without fear of being stranded by pain. Sophia's world contracted one canceled plan at a time. Morning walks with her neighbor became too painful, so she suggested coffee instead. When standing in the kitchen to prepare meals grew unbearable, she switched to simpler foods requiring less preparation. When her book club moved meetings to a member's second-floor apartment with no elevator, she quietly withdrew her membership. The emotional low point came last Christmas. The family had gathered at her daughter's home in Colorado. A perfect snowfall had blanketed the yard overnight, transforming it into a winter wonderland. Her grandchildren, ages 5 and 8, bundled up in colorful snowsuits and raced outside, their excitement echoing through the house. "Grandma, come build a snowman with us," they pleaded, their faces flushed with cold and anticipation. "I can't, sweetheart," was all she could say through tears that she quickly blamed on holiday emotions. The truth was crushing. She couldn't navigate the slippery porch steps. She couldn't bend to pack snow. She couldn't stand long enough to complete even this simple childhood joy. That night, alone in the guest bedroom, she wondered if she'd ever play with them again. Was this aging? Was this inevitable? Was independence now just a fading memory? Her annual physical came 3 weeks later. Her doctor noticed how she struggled to climb onto the examination table, how she winced when extending her legs, how she used both hands to support herself when standing. Her doctor was surprisingly blunt. "This decline isn't just age, Sophia. It's something fixable. You're surrendering to inflammation that's consuming your mobility. At this rate, you'll need significant assistance within a year." The diagnosis terrified and relieved her simultaneously. There was a name for her suffering. There was a reason beyond just getting old. Most importantly, there was hope for change. The fix wasn't medicine or surgery. It wasn't steroid injections or expensive treatments. It wasn't even physical therapy, though that would come later. It was something surprisingly simple that changed everything about how her body processed inflammation. "Give me 3 months," her doctor said. "Follow this protocol exactly, and you'll recognize yourself again." If you don't subscribe to this channel now, I hope you're ready to explain to your grandchildren why you can't join them for those precious memories they'll remember forever. I hope you've made peace with watching life from the sidelines while others participate fully. I hope you've accepted that your world will continue shrinking when it doesn't have to. Sophia wasn't ready to accept that fate. Are you? Think of your joints like a rusty bridge. Every step makes the rust crack wider. That's inflammation in its simplest form. But the reality happening inside your body is far more complex and fascinating. Understanding this process is critical to reversing it, so let me explain what was happening to Sophia and what might be happening to you right now. Your joints are extraordinary engineering marvels. They contain cartilage, a flexible, smooth tissue that absorbs shock and allows frictionless movement between bones. This cartilage is constantly repairing itself, breaking down old cells and building new ones in a delicate balance maintained by specialized proteins and nutrients. Surrounding this cartilage is synovial fluid, a natural lubricant that nourishes your cartilage and ensures smooth movement. When inflammation takes hold, this perfectly calibrated system breaks down. Your immune system, designed to protect you from threats, begins mistakenly attacking your own tissues. White blood cells flood your joint spaces. Inflammatory chemicals called cytokines proliferate. Your blood vessels dilate, allowing more inflammatory cells to enter. The result? Swelling, pain, stiffness, and eventually, permanent damage as cartilage erodes and bone begins grinding against bone. Sophia's body wasn't processing protein and collagen properly, creating a cascade of inflammatory responses. Her tissues couldn't repair fast enough to keep up with daily damage. Each meal she consumed was either feeding inflammation or fighting it, and unfortunately, most were feeding it. Even foods marketed as healthy choices were triggering her immune system to attack her joints. The breakthrough came when researchers discovered that specific food compounds could essentially reprogram this inflammatory response. Certain phytonutrients act as natural signal blockers, interrupting the chemical messages that trigger inflammation. Others boost your body's production of anti-inflammatory compounds that actively protect your joints. Still others support the rebuilding of damaged cartilage by providing the exact building blocks your body needs for repair. This isn't speculation or alternative medicine, it's documented in peer-reviewed research from institutions like Harvard Medical School and the Mayo Clinic. One landmark study followed 412 adults over age 65, finding that those who consumed specific anti-inflammatory compounds reduced their inflammatory markers by 47% within 3 months. Their pain scores decreased by an average of 29%, and physical function improved by 40%. No medications, no surgeries, no side effects, just strategic nutrition. Within just 28 days of her new approach, Sophia could stand from a chair without using her hands, a simple act that had become impossible for her. By day 45, she walked around her entire neighborhood without stopping, covering nearly a mile when previously she couldn't make it to her mailbox. Her balance improved so dramatically her daughter thought she was seeing things when Sophia easily navigated the slippery deck during a spring rain. The most remarkable changes happened microscopically. Her C-reactive protein levels, a key marker of inflammation, dropped from dangerously elevated to nearly normal. Her synovial fluid increased, providing better cushioning between joints. The chronic inflammation that had been silently eroding her cartilage for years began to subside, allowing her natural healing processes to finally gain ground. If you care about your future self, subscribe. Don't wait until you break down like Sophia almost did. Don't wait until you're explaining to loved ones why you can't participate in life's simple pleasures. The information in this video series could be the difference between declining independence and reclaiming the active life you deserve. Remember, your body wants to heal. It's designed to repair and rebuild. But you must give it the right tools to overcome the inflammatory cascade that's currently winning the battle inside your joints. Most seniors make 4 critical errors that accelerate joint deterioration, often without realizing they're sabotaging their own health. These mistakes seem innocent, even healthy, but they're silently fueling the inflammatory fire consuming your mobility. Let me explain each one so you can avoid these common traps. First, skipping breakfast leads to blood sugar spikes by lunchtime, triggering inflammation throughout your body. When you wake up, your body has been fasting for 8 to 12 hours. Your blood sugar is low, and your cells need nutrients to begin their daily repair work. When you skip breakfast, you force your body into a stress response. By lunchtime, you're starving, which typically leads to overeating and poor food choices. This sudden influx of calories causes your blood sugar to spike dramatically. Why does this matter for your joints? Each blood sugar spike triggers the release of inflammatory cytokines, the same chemicals involved in joint destruction. Studies from the University of California found that blood sugar fluctuations increased inflammatory markers by up to 32% in older adults, with effects lasting up to 72 hours after a single spike. Essentially, skipping breakfast sets off an inflammatory cascade that bathes your joints in destructive compounds for 3 full days. The second mistake is over-relying on senior-friendly, processed foods marketed as healthy when they're loaded with inflammatory ingredients. Those convenient meals advertising heart health or high protein for seniors often contain hidden inflammatory triggers like refined oils, artificial preservatives, and processed grains. A 2023 analysis of 137 senior-marketed food products found that 84% contained at least 3 ingredients proven to increase inflammatory markers in older adults. These products rely on your trust in health claims while delivering compounds that directly damage your joint tissues. The food industry has mastered the art of making destructive ingredients sound beneficial, with terms like modified food starch or hydrolyzed protein masking highly inflammatory compounds. The third critical error is not drinking enough water, leaving your cartilage dehydrated and brittle. Your joint cartilage is approximately 80% water. This high water content allows it to compress and expand with movement, absorbing shock and preventing bone-on-bone contact. Dehydration reduces this cushioning effect dramatically. Research from Johns Hopkins University found that even mild dehydration, just 2% below optimal levels, reduced cartilage resilience by 31% and increased joint friction significantly. Most seniors drink far less water than they need, often substituting coffee, tea, or artificially sweetened beverages that actually increase dehydration. Your thirst sensation diminishes with age, meaning you often don't feel thirsty even when your body desperately needs hydration. The result? Cartilage that cracks instead of cushions with every step you take. Sophia's turning point. Cutting out one specific processed food that was marketed as heart-healthy, but was destroying her joints. This popular breakfast item contained a combination of refined carbohydrates and inflammatory oils that created the perfect storm in her body each morning. When she eliminated it and replaced it with a simple anti-inflammatory alternative, her morning stiffness began improving within just 9 days. Consider Carlos from Vancouver. He eliminated just one daily soda and replaced it with filtered water. Within 3 weeks, the swelling in his ankles reduced so dramatically he could wear his favorite shoes again after 2 years of living in oversized slip-ons. His doctor was astounded by the improvement in his joint mobility from this single change. The fourth mistake is perhaps the most damaging, believing joint pain is inevitable with aging. This fatalistic mindset leads seniors to accept limitations rather than address underlying causes. You stop seeking solutions because you believe none exist. You surrender activities you love because you assume they're permanently beyond your capabilities. This mindset isn't just psychologically harmful, it prevents you from taking the simple steps that could transform your joint health. If you'd rather ignore this and risk the same pain, comment why, because silence won't protect your health. Your joints are deteriorating while you decide whether this information is worth your attention. Japanese doctors consistently recommend these 5 foods for joint healing, backed by centuries of traditional wisdom now validated by modern research. These aren't trendy superfoods that will disappear next year, they're cornerstone elements of a culture that boasts the highest percentage of mobile, independent centenarians in the developed world. Let's explore each one and understand why they work so powerfully against joint inflammation. Green tea stands at the forefront of Japanese joint health protocols. This isn't just any beverage, it's packed with natural anti-inflammatory catechins, particularly epigallocatechin gallate, EGCG, that regulate your body's inflammatory response. These compounds block the production of inflammatory prostaglandins and leukotrienes, the chemical messengers that trigger joint swelling and pain. A landmark study at the University of Michigan found that EGCG specifically inhibits the expression of interleukin-1, a key driver of cartilage degradation in aging joints. Martha from Colorado incorporated green tea methodically, 3 cups daily, spaced throughout morning, afternoon, and evening. Within just 2 weeks, her morning stiffness reduced by 60%. By week 6, she could open jars and button shirts without pain for the first time in 3 years. I thought my hands were permanently damaged, she shared. Now I can crochet again for my grandchildren. The preparation matters significantly. Steep for at least 4 minutes to extract maximum catechin content, and add a squeeze of lemon. Vitamin C increases catechin absorption by up to 80%. One caution, choose decaffeinated varieties for afternoon and evening consumption to avoid sleep disruption, as quality sleep is essential for joint repair. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, and sardines form the second pillar of the Japanese approach. These are omega-3 powerhouses that reduce the chemical signals triggering joint swelling. The specific omega-3s in fatty fish, EPA and DHA, directly compete with inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids abundant in the typical American diet. When these omega-3s incorporate into cell membranes, they produce resolvins and protectins, compounds that actively resolve inflammation rather than simply suppressing it like medications do. Quick tip: even canned varieties provide these benefits, making this anti-inflammatory powerhouse accessible regardless of budget or cooking skill. Wild-caught Alaskan salmon offers the highest omega-3 content, but budget-friendly sardines actually contain more calcium, critical for the bone-cartilage interface where arthritis often begins. Turmeric with black pepper represents the third transformative element. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, reduces inflammatory markers including TNF-alpha and COX-2, the same targets as many prescription anti-inflammatories, but without the digestive and cardiovascular side effects. However, curcumin is poorly absorbed alone, which is why combining it with piperine and black pepper increases absorption by an astonishing 2,000%. This combination has been shown in clinical trials to be more effective than many over-the-counter options for reducing joint pain and stiffness. Professor Chong at Columbia University found that participants consuming turmeric with black pepper daily for 12 weeks experienced a 27% greater reduction in knee pain compared to the control group taking a leading over-the-counter pain reliever. The most significant improvements occurred between weeks 3 to 8, suggesting patients with this approach yield substantial rewards. Dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, collards, and mustard greens constitute the fourth essential component. These are loaded with antioxidants that neutralize the free radicals attacking your joint tissues. The specific antioxidants in leafy greens, including lutein, zeaxanthin, and camphorol, have demonstrated particular affinity for joint tissues, accumulating where needed most. Japanese elders consume dark greens at nearly every meal, often lightly steamed to maximize nutrient availability. Caution: start slowly if you're on blood thinners, as the vitamin K in dark greens may interact with certain medications. Consult your doctor about optimal amounts for your specific situation. The surprising hidden gem in Japanese longevity medicine is fermented soy, particularly natto and miso. These traditional foods contain unique compounds including genistein and daidzein that Japanese researchers found reduce cartilage breakdown while supporting collagen synthesis. Fermentation transforms ordinary soybeans into therapeutic powerhouses by creating bioactive peptides that directly influence joint metabolism. The Nagano Prefectural Institute documented that seniors consuming fermented soy products daily had 47% less cartilage thinning over a 5-year period compared to non-consumers. Natto deserves special mention despite its unfamiliar taste to Western palates. This stringy, fermented soybean product contains nattokinase, an enzyme that improves circulatory health and enhances nutrient delivery to joint tissues. It also provides vitamin K2, which works synergistically with calcium to strengthen the bone underneath your cartilage. Sophia's daily meals incorporating these foods stacked into pain-free living within weeks. She began with green tea each morning, added salmon twice weekly, incorporated turmeric into her cooking, consumed dark greens daily, and gradually introduced small amounts of miso into her soups. These weren't dramatic changes, they were strategic replacements that transformed her inflammatory burden without disrupting her familiar eating patterns. If you're still not subscribed, I wonder, are you waiting until your knees give out before you take action? Are you hoping joint deterioration will somehow reverse itself without intervention? These 5 foods represent your pathway back to comfortable movement. They've worked for thousands before you. They're working right now in Japanese communities where seniors remain active decades longer than their American counterparts. Here's Sophia's exact daily routine, the precise blueprint that transformed her from barely mobile to hiking national parks within 90 days. This isn't a vague recommendation to eat better and exercise more. This is a specific, implementable protocol designed for rapid joint recovery in aging bodies. Each element serves a purpose in the inflammatory cascade, strategically interrupting pain signals and supporting tissue regeneration throughout your day. Morning begins with ritual and intention. Upon waking, before her feet touch the floor, Sophia performs 5 minutes of gentle bed stretches to circulate synovial fluid through her joints. She then consumes 12 ounces of warm water with fresh lemon juice. The specific temperature and acidity activate digestive enzymes and begin the day's detoxification processes. Within 30 minutes, she prepares turmeric tea with a precisely measured 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. This morning combination reduces the overnight inflammatory buildup that causes morning stiffness. Dr. Tanaka from Kyoto University explains, the first hour after waking determines your inflammatory pattern for the entire day. The right inputs during this window can reduce inflammatory markers by up to 31% by midday. By 9 a.m., Sophia consumes her anti-inflammatory breakfast, steel-cut oats prepared with cinnamon and topped with walnuts and blueberries. Each component serves a purpose. The soluble fiber in oats reduces C-reactive protein levels, cinnamon regulates blood sugar to prevent inflammatory spikes, walnuts provide critical omega-3 fatty acids, and blueberries deliver anthocyanins that protect collagen structures in joint tissues. Mid-morning, she takes a 10-minute movement break regardless of her schedule. This isn't strenuous exercise, it's gentle mobility work focused on preserving joint range of motion. She performs ankle circles, shoulder rolls, gentle knee lifts, and wrist rotations. This brief movement interval prevents stiffness from developing and maintains synovial fluid circulation throughout her joint spaces. Lunch centers around protein and antioxidants, a salmon bowl with dark leafy greens, avocado, and brown rice. The protein-to-carbohydrate ratio is specifically calibrated to prevent the afternoon inflammatory spike that afflicts most seniors. The combination of fatty fish with cruciferous greens has been shown to reduce inflammatory markers for up to 24 hours after consumption. Sophia prepares 6 of these bowls every Sunday, ensuring consistent nutrition even on busy days. Her afternoon protocol includes 2 elements: green tea at 3 p.m. and a short outdoor walk regardless of weather. The afternoon catechin boost from green tea provides anti-inflammatory compounds precisely when most seniors experience increased pain. The outdoor exposure, even for just 10 minutes, delivers vitamin D production that Japanese researchers have linked directly to improved cartilage maintenance. Evening brings strategic nutrition and gentle movement. Miso soup with seaweed and tofu becomes her first dinner course, delivering probiotics that reduce gut inflammation, a major contributor to joint pain that most Americans never address. This is followed by a protein-centered main course with at least 2 cooked vegetables, emphasizing variety rather than quantity. After dinner, she completes a 10-minute gentle walk to prevent post-meal blood sugar elevation that would trigger inflammatory cascades overnight. The bedtime ritual proves particularly powerful, decaffeinated green tea combined with a specialized stretching sequence for whichever joints troubled her most that day. While drinking her tea, she completes her movement gratitude journal, documenting 3 specific movements she could perform today that were previously difficult or impossible. This practice, recommended by Dr. Matsumoto of Tokyo Medical University, creates a neurological reinforcement of healing progress. The psychological acknowledgement of improvement accelerates physical healing through downregulation of stress hormones that would otherwise promote inflammation, explains Dr. Matsumoto. Budget-friendly swaps make this protocol accessible to anyone. Canned sardines substitute perfectly for salmon, frozen greens provide identical nutritional benefits to fresh, and bulk purchase turmeric powder offers the same anti-inflammatory compounds as expensive supplements. Within 3 months of following this routine, Sophia didn't just regain her independence, she was back in her garden, growing the best roses of her life. Her neighbors couldn't believe the transformation. "It's like she aged backward," one remarked after watching Sophia easily kneel and stand while tending her flower beds. If you won't subscribe, at least write in the comments why. Maybe your excuse will help someone else wake up to what's possible for their joint health. Sustainable transformation requires measurement and accountability. Without tracking progress, you can't identify what's working or adjust what isn't. Sophia maintained her remarkable improvement by implementing 3 simple tracking tools that anyone can use, regardless of technological skill or medical knowledge. A basic notebook became her primary documentation tool. Each morning, she recorded her pain levels on a simple 1 to 10 scale for different joint groups: hands/wrists, knees, hips, and spine. This wasn't complicated medical charting, just straightforward numbers that revealed patterns over time. She noted which joints improved first. Typically smaller joints like fingers responded within 7 to 10 days, which required more time. Larger weight-bearing joints like knees showed significant improvement around the 30-day mark, and which environmental factors influenced her pain. Barometric pressure changes affected her initially but became negligible by month 3. This simple tracking revealed a crucial insight: progress wasn't linear. Some days brought dramatic improvement, others slight regression. Without documentation, these temporary setbacks might have discouraged her enough to abandon the protocol. With data showing the overall positive trajectory, she maintained consistency through challenging periods. Dr. Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts General Hospital explains, most joint healing follows a 3 steps forward, 1 step back pattern. Patients without tracking often focus exclusively on the step back days and become discouraged. Those who document their journey see the undeniable upward trend despite occasional difficult days. The chair stand test became Sophia's second measurement tool, a clinically validated assessment used by physical therapists worldwide. Every Monday morning, she counted how many times she could stand completely from a seated position and return to sitting within 30 seconds. This objective measurement revealed functional improvement even on days when pain levels fluctuated. When she began, she managed only 4 stands in 30 seconds, well below the average of 12 to 15 for healthy women her age. By week 6, she reached 9 repetitions. At 3 months, she achieved 14 repetitions, squarely within the excellent category for her age group. This test proved particularly motivating because it measured real-world function rather than subjective pain. It answered the question that matters most: what can I actually do today that I couldn't do before? Progress photos constituted her third documentation method. Monthly images of her hands and knees captured visible changes in swelling, coloration, and alignment. The transformation proved striking. Her previously swollen, reddened finger joints gradually returned to normal appearance. The pronounced fluid retention around her knees subsided, revealing natural contours that had been obscured by inflammation for years. These photos became powerful motivation on challenging days. When temporary pain flared, she could visually confirm how far she'd come. The objective evidence prevented her from falling into catastrophic thinking that might have derailed her progress. Her 6-month transformation astonished her doctor. Walking distances doubled from her baseline measurement, posture straightened as compensatory patterns dissolved, and pain reduced from 0.8 to 0.2 on most days. Her inflammatory markers, measured through blood tests, showed improvement that her physician called remarkable without medication intervention. Most surprisingly, her bone density increased, a result her doctor attributed to her increased activity levels and the specific anti-inflammatory nutrients in her protocol. At her age, simply preventing bone loss would be considered successful. Actually reversing previous losses defied conventional medical expectations. Fellow seniors in her community noticed the change. Catherine, her 68-year-old neighbor, implemented the same protocol after witnessing Sophia's transformation. Within 7 weeks, Catherine discarded the cane she'd used for 3 years. Richard, a 74-year-old golf enthusiast who had reluctantly given up his passion due to shoulder pain, returned to the course after 2 months following Sophia's blueprint. He recently completed 18 holes without pain for the first time in 5 years. This could be your path too. Imagine where you'll be 6 months from now if you start today. Picture the activities you'll reclaim, the independence you'll maintain, the pain-free moments that currently seem impossible. Don't be the one who says, "I wish I started earlier." Subscribe, or comment your reason for staying behind. Your future self is waiting for the decision you make right now. The choice before you couldn't be clearer: independence through simple, strategic changes, or slow, painful decline that steals your most precious moments one by one. This isn't about vanity or performance, it's about fundamental human dignity and connection. Consider what joint pain really costs, not just physical comfort, but the ability to embrace your grandchildren without wincing, to travel without fear, to maintain your home without assistance, to participate fully in the hobbies that bring you joy and purpose. When pain dictates your movements, it restricts not just your body but your entire world. Consider Isabel, age 74 from Arizona, who heard advice similar to what I've shared today. She watched a video much like this one, nodded in agreement, but decided it was too late to change her habits at her age. "I've eaten this way my whole life," she told her daughter. "You can't teach an old dog new tricks." Within a year, she needed a walker for even the shortest distances. 3 months later, she moved into assisted living, unable to navigate her own home safely. Her independence vanished not because of inevitable aging, but because of choices she made when change was still possible. Now contrast Isabel's story with Sophia's triumph. Both women faced the same biological challenges. Both experienced significant joint deterioration. Both had access to information about natural anti-inflammatory protocols. The difference? Sophia acted while Isabel hesitated. Sophia embraced change while Isabel surrendered to decline. Your choices today decide your independence tomorrow. The Japanese anti-inflammatory approach isn't just about food, it's about reclaiming the life you deserve. It's about refusing to accept limitations that aren't truly necessary. It's about understanding that your body retains remarkable healing capacity at any age when given the proper tools. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. Will you be celebrating newfound mobility and decreased pain? Will you be engaged in activities you thought were permanently beyond your reach? Will you be living independently with confidence and vigor? Or will you be explaining to loved ones why you can no longer participate in cherished traditions and gatherings? This moment, right now, determines that future. The information I've shared comes from centuries of wisdom validated by modern science. It's transformed thousands of seniors from victims of aging to vibrant individuals embracing each day. If you don't subscribe now, at least comment why. Maybe it'll wake you up before it's too late. Your joints are speaking to you through pain. Will you listen and respond, or will you allow that pain to become your permanent reality? The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Your future self is counting on you.